Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to all across the Delaware Valley. This is the Anthony Gargano Show presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the credit union difference at truemark.com/PHLY. Tough night last night. The news yesterday was one that shook us. The best catcher in baseball out. I mean, torn meniscus, you had surgery. They're saying a month. I think it's going to be closer to 2 before he gets back. He is one of the he's probably the heart and soul guy of this team. You have Bryce, obviously. You have Schwarber, who's the leader, but the rock of this team that's there is the best catcher in baseball, JT Realmuto. I mean, when you think about what JT means, he's an incredible defensive catcher. He's got an amazing arm, right? You can't run on him. He's a great defensive catcher, and he's a bat. I mean, he's, to me, you got Contreras, both of them, but the Milwaukee Contreras is good. You got a couple guys, Moreno and Arizona, who's good. A couple guys out in the American League. But, JT to me is the best. But Will Smith, the Dodgers, I go JT. I think JT means a ton. It's amazing, this team, the run that it's on. Last night, there's no JT. Turner's been out, right? So we haven't had Turner really for most of the year. And yet they just win. And last night, again, Wheeler goes through his, like most of the aces, a little shaky early, and then he just turns it on, and he's unhittable, unstoppable, and he gives you 7 strong. And you're able to get him out early, too, and not tax him. And you go to Strom, he doesn't even throw 100 pitches, Wheeler. And then there it is. It's June. So if it's June, it's Schwarber month. And he bangs 2 yesterday out of Fenway. Phillies win. Look, you're going to hold on. You're going to piecemeal until you get JT back. I mean, that's kind of what you're going to do. And you're already doing that. You did that with Turner. You're going to do that with Realmuto. And, you see where you're at. Again, they seem impervious to injuries. It's pretty wild. We're going to look back on this thing. No Marsh, no Turner, now JT. I mean, they're getting banged up, yet all they do is win. And they go to Fenway last night, and they win in Fenway. And speaking of Fenway, I don't know about you guys. I'm watching the game, and I'm looking around at all the Celtics fans. Now, listen, God bless them, right? If you're a Bostonian, you are loving it, right? They're playing tonight. It's game 3, right? They're 2 games away from an NBA championship that has eluded Tatum and Brown. So, it's a momentous thing going on in Boston. And I look at Boston, and it's funny. We were talking about in the morning before the show this morning. And look, they are our biggest rival. And I always joke about it because I hate the Celtics and I hate the Red Sox. I hate the Red Sox, especially when they won. And there was all these closet Red Sox people come out of the woodwork. I'm a Boston fan. And there are even those here. I got a buddy of mine who watches the show regularly. In fact, you've probably eaten his bread. Louis Carangi from Carangi Bakery we used to hang a Red Sox flag. And I'm like, dude, we're Phillies, man. That's what it is. There's no American League team. You can't have an American League team. You have one team. You browse the other team. You can look around the other things. You could, have an affinity. You can't be a fan and you can't be buying merch and flags and stuff like that. That's a violation, especially with Boston. I respect Boston. I respect their fans. They are the closest things to us. It's Boston. It's the boroughs of New York. Queens and the Bronx and Long Island and Staten Island that are close to us because they're regular people like we are. Nobody regular lives in Manhattan, right? So those New York sports fans are like us. So it's Boston, New York, and us. But Boston and Philadelphia have a kinship, an amazing kinship. And it goes back to being the two cities, right? I joke all the time, Puritans v. Quakers. And we just had this rivalry. I'll never forget when the Eagles played the Patriots in the Super Bowl in Jacksonville. We were in an RV. I was doing a show with Steve Monterano, and it was me, Steve, our producer, Bubba, Dave Breitmeyer, and we would have a couple of our and my friends, my cousin and my buddy Boo, Vinny, everybody, and we jump into this RV, and our RV breaks down, and we're at a rest stop, and we're driving south, and who do we see in this like Cadillac of RVs, like this big, way bigger than ours, and it was all tricked out, but these Patriot fans from Boston, and it was like Boston, Philly, and we were just going at it head to head. And of course, they gave us help, and it was fun when we were drinking with them. And it shows our relation. We're kindred spirits because they love sports up there the way we love sports here. And so anytime a Philadelphia team plays Boston, it's great, especially in baseball. Red Sox, Phillies is a great rivalry. It was one of the proudest moments of my niece as a child, my niece Domenica. We were at the game, or she's at the game with her father, and she says, Uncle Ant, people around me, it was like I think it was the early, before the run of 07, 8, and through 11. And she's like, the whole stadium's filled with Red Sox fans. And I was arguing with people. I'm like, I love you, Domenica. That's right. We got to stand up for our own. Boston, it's happening. So any win over Boston is a great night. So we'll continue that. Also, that ballpark, Fenway, it's iconic. It's timeless. And it's interesting because last night at Lincoln Financial Field, the Rolling Stones played. And my man VG was there. And I want to get into this conversation today about timeless. And by all accounts, the Stones went wild. Friends of mine were there. The whole thing that's popping off, brought to you by Olipop. Get your favorite flavors of Olipop, the soda that's good for you, at your nearest Wawa. Good morning, JP, John Zapata.
What is this?
VG, Violations Greg.
Yo.
Timeless. Stones timeless?
Blown away. The coolest of the cool. So they just come out. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rolling Stones. And, they look great. They sounded great. You can only hope to be a tenth as cool as them when you're 80.
I know. You think about it, right? Like they're playing, what, 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. Killing it. They could have gone on for another 12. I was up till like 2:00 in the morning last night, just being like, they didn't play this song, and they didn't play how they not play this song, and every song was a banger except they threw in 3 new ones.
I know that feeling.
Hackney Diamonds, the new album, which they're fine. Luckily, they're like 2.5 minute songs, so they cruise by pretty quick. Nice little pee break.
Yeah, but an epic. But we describe it like, think about it, right? It's great that they're around because the fact that they're still around keeps that piece of it alive.
And it was good work by parents. They were like parents with their kids, and the kids were singing every word along with it. So it's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Stones will be around forever, like Beethoven.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yes.
They're just going to be around forever.
Yes.
They're in culture, pop culture, and commercials and movies and TV. I mean, they're just going to be around forever.
Well, we were talking about before. I was talking about Scorsese. Like, nobody makes, Scorsese films, he uses so much Rolling Stones. And it's like part of it. Like it adds to the vibe. They're so cinematic. Like I love music that can be storytelling, right? And that accents storytelling so much.
No, I agree with that. Like I do. I had that agreement with you because I feel like music not only can set the story up, but it can set the vibe up as well. And that's why I always use music too, to put me in a good mood, but also to set that mood or that vibe.
It is, and that Scorsese was one of the first to use known songs, people that knew, and the Stones were perfect for it.
Yeah, he's I feel like every Scorsese movie has a Stone song in it at this point. Yeah, and
No,
they're epic scenes.
Oh yeah,
They're not just like a background. It's an epic scene of the movie. It's like, oh, here come the Stones. Pay attention.
Well, there's in one of his first early films is Mean Streets, and there's a couple great scenes. You played one where Johnny Boy who's like his problem child that he loves, right? He's always in trouble. He's walking into the bar, and he's got two girls that he picked up at the festival, and he's like his albatross that he has to carry. And there's a great Stone songs playing as he just kind of walks into the bar, right? It's cool, smoke filled, 70s, it's grimy, and it just feels it.
Yeah, and I couldn't help. I'm watching it, and I'm like, who are the Stones of athletes and like Philadelphia sports and stuff? Who are our cool guys? Do we have any cool guys? Harry Callis was a cool guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
he was like
my
a Stones.
God. He was like this.
He was.
That's a great one.
That voice. Oh,
That's a great
so
one.
soothing.
I'll never forget. Like I'm making the thing because he was smoking.
Yeah,
And we were down in the bowels of Citizens Bank Park during the World Series of 08. It's pouring rain, and we're like down the bottom, like it's open, like the field. You can see the field, and so Harry would go smoke, right? So I would go see him, and we're talking, and he's pulling drag, and he's got the white shoes on, and the powder blue suit. Anthony, I still think we got. I'm like, because it was during. Remember, they kept playing through the rain, and the pop up. And who was it? Jimmy couldn't see the pop up. It landed, scored a run. It was like they didn't want the game to end with the Phillies and a rain-shortened World Series. So they were trying they were praying Tampa would score. And so I remember being freaking out. Don't worry, Anthony. The fighting Phils are going to win.
My God.
He's smoking, and it was just he was just cool.
He was always calm.
The epitome is those shoes. Like he doesn't. Cool guys don't care if it's in style, out of style. They like what they like, and they rock it, and
they rock it with pride.
Yes,
they just walk in like they're so untethered to opinion.
Yes,
right. Like to anybody's opinion, they don't care. Like Harry was this happy-go-lucky man.
Yes,
he was just he was cool in every sense of the word.
I'm happy he got the CCBP and World Series, that 08 one.
Yes. All right, speaking of the Phillies,
The Fightins.
JT.
JT.
That's a kick in the junk.
Yeah.
no belief in Stubbs. Stubbsy? What is it? Is it Stubbsy or Stubbs? Is it Stubby?
I think it's
Is
Stubbs.
it Stubby or Stubbsy?
Stubb. It's Stubbs.
No, they actually call him. They added a
I
they
know.
added
It's
a Y.
Stubbsy. It's Stubbsy. I get it.
Stubbsy?
Yeah.
Are we concerned with JT out here with what we got?
Yes. Yes, I am concerned.
About the bat or handling the rotation?
Both. He's the best catcher in baseball.
No doubt
BC,
about
I bet.
that.
Don't you think so?
Probably.
You
Not replacing
give me
JT.
that
That's for sure.
Like nonchalant. Like you're nonchalant. Like JT.
I mean, would I trade him for the
JT's
guy
a
in
rock.
Baltimore right now? Yeah.
Oh, Rushman. Yeah.
Yes.
No, listen. He's ridiculous. He's young.
Yeah.
He's young, but he just came in. Like he's got incredible talent, and he bats second, and he's got pop. He's left-handed. But as far as all-around catcher, I don't know about Royceman and what he is defensively.
Yeah.
I do know that JT is you can't run on him, and he handles the pitching staff.
Yeah. I have no problem. I mean, I'm just messing with you. I got no problem. I love JT.
Yeah, we got Stubbies.
But I mean, can they survive 2 months? I mean, they're not going to make a move, right?
No.
So can they survive 2 months with these guys? Yeah, I think so.
No. Listen, are
they going to lose some ground, you think?
I'm concerned not from a standpoint of how it would diminish the regular season, right? Like, It's more of you had to deal with Trey. You had to deal with Marsh.
Yep.
Now you got to deal with JT. It's just a cumulative. Now, I don't know. I'm hoping that if this is not a rash type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And you just go get through it. They'll have, put it this way, if they do break the Seattle record or even this, the Phillies team record, franchise record, I got news for you. They've earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be really impressive.
I mean, they've earned it.
Yep.
Do you think, I'll be curious, Cy Young odds, do they get worse for the Phillies? Like, how does this affect the pitching staff and the odds of them?
I'm more concerned about the bat more than the defense, if I'm being honest.
I mean, that's a concern, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly we have 3 guys who were the leaders in Cy Young. They lose their catcher for 2 months.
There'll be a slight drop
No,
off.
I mean, that's all part of why I sit here going, why I'm worried, because of the way he does handle his staff, because of the way his defense behind the plate, the way he calls a game.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Like I'll be honest with you. Yesterday I was like, man, it was like a kick in the gut. Like, again, it doesn't mean anything other than he'll be back long before the playoffs. That's all that matters, right? I get it. But still, like, he's going to be gone for every bit of 2 months.
I completely agree with the impact that JT Realmuto is for this team, but like gauging the fan base, a lot of people do feel that they should go out and get another catcher. And I think for the time being, I do agree it might be closer to 2 months simply because of the position he plays in the field, but I don't think you have to go out and get another catcher. I think for right now, as far as the stopgap goes, I'm trusting Subs. And, Marshawn, listen, the problem with him is injuries. I mean, the dude's got a solid bat. He's solid behind the plate as well as a catcher, but I don't think you need to go out and get another catcher.
You guys like Stubbs more than I do. Every day.
John Pierce in the chat. John Peace in the chat. Don't sleep on the 2015 Johnny Bench Award winner, best catcher in college baseball, Garrett Stubbs.
Oh, boy.
Listen, he's well liked. He's the clubhouse DJ.
That's really what it is. He's the clubhouse guy.
Every day.
I'll tell you whose fault this is. He's a friend of the show, and I'm not happy. Mr. Kevin Nagandi, about 4 weeks ago, was like, I got a real concern about the backup catcher position.
Yes.
Put it out in the universe.
Yes,
and
you
now
did.
we're
We're gonna find out.
I called him out as a violation for
Yes.
crapping on Stubbsy. And here we go. Nagandi. You got to get him on. It's all his fault.
Yeah, we got to talk about that one, Nagandi.
Wow, I forgot he did that.
Yeah, he did it right here.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, that's no good.
No.
Yeah.
That's no good. No, I mean, listen. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I think he's one of the more underrated Phillies,
Okay.
JT. Like, we talk about Bryce, we talk about Schwarber, right? Like, the one guy you never get, we talk, obviously, daycare, but JT, we don't talk a lot about, and I think he's a backbone of this squad.
He's consistently one of the best catchers. He's the catcher of the best pitching staff in MLB this season. I mean, for sure. I mean, we're about to find out as well the absence of how big that is for JT, or for the Phillies, I should say. But no, you're spot on, cuz.
He's a quiet cool. I look at him and I don't think he's cool, but he takes a beating back there.
Oh yeah.
And he's a little streaky hitting.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time,
How about the other night, man? He took one right square and jump, man.
Yeah, and then he took one like at the plate, play at the plate after
Don't think
taking
ice
one
can't fit.
square on
Yeah,
the jump.
I mean, my only point is I don't think we talk enough about him.
No, you're
Take
right.
him for granted.
Yeah,
I think so.
right.
Yeah.
One slightly frightening stat on Stubbsy, he hasn't played more than 3 games in a row. So is he going to be able to handle
He's
the
also
workload?
small.
Is he going to be able to handle that workload?
Yeah, no, he's not. The answer is no.
The kid's not big either, right? Marshawn.
no, Marshawn. No.
Yeah, he's like 5'8", 5'9". Where are they finding these
I
tiny
know.
catchers at?
Chooch came up as a catcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chooch came up as a second baseman, got moved to catcher.
He was second
gotcha.
baseman? Wow, that's a
Yeah.
bulky second baseman.
right, but he got moved. He came up as a second baseman, got moved to catcher.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. He was small too.
Maybe he was
He's
slimmer back
stout.
then.
Well, he was thick-legged, but he was
Yeah.
he was short. He was small. Like though we always talk about those 6'3", 6'2" catchers.
Yeah.
Was always like like that was the prototype.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
the
wanted,
beating up Dalton or Boone.
Right. Like you wanted
Yeah.
the big
Yes.
6'2" catcher. I mean, not the 5'7". I mean, what
No,
was shoots
no.
5'7"?
Little league is like you would never put that little guy behind the plate,
Right.
Just he's someone that you hope
You're
the
always
ball
looking,
hits.
right? You're always looking for that, that big dude. All right, cool is something we're gonna get into a little bit later in the clubhouse because of the Stones last night and like just timeless cool right here in Philadelphia last night with the Rolling Stones. We'll get into that. We'll talk to Todd Zalecki, who I love, Todd, from MLB. He does a great job covering the Phillies, so we'll get deep into it. What the story is with JT. We'll talk to Todd about that. We will talk to Mike Garofolo. And I heard something today. I was listening to WIP, and guys Joe and John were talking, and John was talking about how, and I was shocked that they should have fired Sirianni. And I was like,
Preach.
I know you feel the same way. And I don't get that.
Who said that on that show?
John
Oh,
Richmond.
okay, all right. Yeah, I'm good with John. Yeah, he's a smart guy.
But I honestly, I was like, wow, man, that's pretty strong.
I mean, the team from the outside, like the team just totally collapsed, and there was no answers.
Okay, so you're right. Like we talk about this real quick about the collapse. However, that doesn't mean you flush everything else down the drain that you did. Like you got to the playoffs in 1 year. You got to the Super Bowl in 2 years.
Yep.
It was clear the coordinators were the problem too last year.
I mean, like you completely go away. They were also 10-1.
Yeah.
Like my point is that listen, he deserved the year no matter what. Whether Jalen loves him, doesn't like him, it's irrelevant to the conversation that he gets another year.
It's just irrelevant. Like an epic collapse, and your quarterback's not happy with him.
By the way, to me, Jalen's not Mahomes. Like Jalen doesn't dictate who the coach is in my eyes.
Not there yet, at least.
No.
You don't think so?
Man,
No.
they got a lot of money committed.
That you can get out of.
And I mean, you're acting like quarterbacks are just hanging around.
No, you're acting like he's Mahomes and he's not.
No, I think he's a top 10 quarterback. And I
He
think
might
those
be
guys
top 10, 15. I don't know where he is.
15?
I don't know where he is. Last
Ooh.
year, put it this way, he was once a top 5 to 7. Last year, he was probably around 10, 11. I mean, he did not. There was a lot of things that he did not do well last year. Now, if you want to bring up, coaching, and I agree, all that has to play in it. But he's not going to dictate my coach. Now, I need to fix him, and he's my quarterback, and he's my quarterback going forward. But he's not dictating who my coach is.
Yeah, I mean, both Nick and Jalen are going to be looked under a microscope. I think Nick's going to be looked harder under the microscope than Jalen.
Make no mistake, if this is a flop, Nick's out.
Yeah, no,
Right?
100%.
That's
100%.
just what the Sirianni's out.
What's
Yeah.
a flop? One and done in the playoffs?
I don't know. I
mean,
mean,
it can't look like
I
last
can say
year.
it when it happens.
All
I
right.
mean, there's a million different scenarios where this whole thing could play
You
out.
can't have collapses. You can't have players looking like they're giving up on the team. Like that type of stuff can't happen again.
There's a million things that can happen, but I think we all understand that if this season turns out to be a flop,
Yeah,
he's out,
100%.
right?
Yep.
But I thought he deserved this year
I'm
to
with you.
fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Judging what he did, like you completely discount. Like you get to the Super Bowl year 2. You can't tell me that was all Steichen.
He's got a winning record too.
It's a combination of Steichen. It was a cake schedule. Who'd they play in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl? I mean, and once you get there, you got a fighter's chance.
Fighter's chance. They should have won the game.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
All right.
But
Well,
they didn't. They got rid of a Super Bowl winning coach, a year and a half after he won a Super Bowl? I mean, this is the Eagles we're talking about. They cut people loose.
Yeah, and again, but I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
You just say
Cut him loose.
He should have been gone this year.
Yeah. That collapse and the way there was no fight, no answers, switching up your defensive coordinators. It was just chaos. It was like Bush League and amateurs, it seemed to me.
Well, again, that's something we've seen before when you lose the coordinators. I just think he deserved another, by what he accomplished over the first 2 years of his career and the first 11 games of year 3. I think that you got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I agree with you.
For 1 year.
Yeah, I agree with you, VG, for a certain extent that I do think that he deserves a little bit of responsibility for that collapse because that's unacceptable. But I do think that the coordinators were the bigger problem than Nick Sirianni. I think Brian Johnson,
Listen, it all falls
Patricia
under
was
him.
terrible.
You're right. The coordinators were awful. It all falls under his, like he's got to answer for it,
Yeah,
right? Like
he's the head guy.
There were his choices for coordinators, so he's got to answer for it. And what he disappointed me in that he didn't take over the offense and the play calling.
Yeah.
Like once you see that as being the issue, forget about the defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the defense issue personnel wise, like whatever you felt about the defense, the offense was the biggest problem. The offense looked clueless.
Yeah, with all those weapons, it should not have looked that inept at the end of the season.
I mean, we've seen him calling plays when he first got here. He wasn't great. We wanted him not to call plays. You know what I mean?
pass.
forget that?
No.
Then we had another factor. Like you have players just changing the plays at the line of scrimmage. And it's not just an audible. They're just regarding the plays that are being called. I mean, it was just total chaos with the team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm disappointed he didn't take over the offense. And that includes the play calling. Whatever happened in his first, 8 weeks of his tenure when he gave up the play calling, maybe I applauded it. Not that he was a terrible play caller, and that I thought he needed to preside over the team. Like you need to be the CEO.
I also think the talk, you have to put it in context. You had an offseason where there were 3 really viable, good alternatives to just getting rid of Sirianni. It wasn't like, oh, we're getting rid of Sirianni. You had Super Bowl winning caliber coaches out there. You had Vrabel out there. There were options that seemed
by the
more
way, are
credible.
still out there.
Yeah, well, doesn't mean it's the right choice. We'll see.
Well, it doesn't mean that was the choice. Nobody else went there. So my point is that there's always coaching candidates that are available.
Not like this.
I mean, not Belichick. Belichick's unique, and if you want to go Belichick, he's unique.
But
there's always you got to go in-house first, and you got to see where you're at. I didn't think he deserved to be booted.
My thing too, when we're going through this discussion during the offseason was like, I don't want us to as well hit, like when crap hits the fan, for us to hit the panic button and start firing coach. Because like when crap started hitting the fan with Doug, we let him go. I don't want the same thing happen to Nick Sirianni. I don't want it to continue with that cycle as well. So that was kind of my thing as well. Nick Sirianni, yes, that collapse was unacceptable, but I wanted to give him that next season with the right coordinators, and we'll see what happens here. We're going to find out a lot about this team, especially under Nick Sirianni.
I mean, do we think
do me a favor. Let's table this for 1 second.
You got it.
Which is a great conversation, and I really want to get back to it.
Yeah.
So we'll do that.
We all silly like the mayor.